But at this point, we were 2 hours and 10 minutes into the program, and here came the part that everybody was talking about. The return of Johnny Sameface. And Lou Kippelman, and I mentioned a bit of this on the drive-thru this past week. I hadn't seen the segment in question as of that point. We just heard Gargano was back and talking about names and rest. He's using his real name or his previous name. I don't know if that's his real name. His name might be Jasper Tappenbutts. I don't fucking know. But he's been using that name since before he got in their WWE system.
I believe it is his real name.
Well, why would you make one like that up?
Well, some of these guys make up some wacky names.
Well, strange as it may seem, these baseball players got strange names these days. You got who's on first, what's on second, I don't know. We won't do that whole routine. So Johnny is back. And I know you saw this. He comes out in a black windbreaker, a white T-shirt, used blue jeans, and red tennis shoes, all 5'7" and 165 pounds of him, in his Newsboy Legion outfit. He looks like a fucking community college student. And this crowd, and of course they were in Toronto, that is, I would think, besides New York, the smartest audience, so people knew who he was, because he's never been on the main show before. But he comes back and is presented as a returning hero, and thankfully for them, as I said, in Toronto, they'll get that response. Inexplicably, the crowd liked seeing him back. I don't get it. Ain't never got it. Ain't never gonna get it. But for the people that are still left patiently viewing this shit, waiting for something good to happen, he's a big deal to them. And he prattled on about his NXT accomplishments and his childhood goals. And he's come back to teach his son that dreams really can come true. Remember when guys used to come back to get even? Remember when guys used to come back to win a title? Remember when guys used to come back to fucking get the girl back? Or whatever the fuck. Now I want to teach my son that dreams can come true. Well, God, the fact that you're on Monday Night Raw at 5'7", 165 with a face as expressive as a fucking snowbank, that means a dream came true, pal. And then the music interrupts. And I'm thinking, thank God something is interrupting this. And then I realize who's interrupting it, and it's Theory. My boy, what have they done to my boy? If Vince was still in his right mind and wrestling was still in its right mind, Theory would be progressing along about the path of a Kurt Angle or a Rock about 20 years ago. He doesn't have the personality and the promo of the Rock, but he's actually a better worker than the Rock was then. I don't know that he's a better athlete than Kurt Angle or even possibly as quick a learner, but goddamn, at this stage of the game, he's a better promo than Kurt. Remember, I worked with Kurt when he'd had like 8 matches in front of people down in Memphis before anybody saw him. His promos were not going to fucking set the world on fire. Theory is a grown adult man that's got the look and the size and the physique and the promo ability and the charisma personality. He's a star that's waiting to happen. He's 6 inches taller than Johnny Sameface, at least 40 pounds heavier. And they're standing face to face with each other, and the visual alone is ridiculous. It looks like a young star that was being poised for a bigger push from the Attitude Era against one of these fucking guys from Outlaw Championship Wrestling at a rec center in Shively. And the story was that Theory basically cut the promo on him. All the things you dreamed of, I've already done them. And now I'm the veteran and you're the rookie. They played off their old NXT association when they were presenting Gargano as the fucking boss of the group and Theory was a flunky. So Theory said, you can carry my briefcase or maybe you just go away. But hey, all's forgiven now that I'm a big deal and you're not. Give me a high five. And Theory asks for a high five, and Johnny Sameface hits him with a super kick. Theory takes a great bump like he does everything great, and he's knocked out for good. One super kick from a fucking middle schooler. It looked like the kid that the Hardley boys super kicked for his 8th birthday about 10 years ago that led to my public dissertation of how exactly they gave me gas. And their Sameface walks out, and there's Theory laying there on top of his Money in the Bank briefcase, a future WWE champion, knocked out and left laying by a juvenile delinquent that will, I promise you, he may work on WrestleMania because they got a lot of work to do before they can weed their roster out. But I guarantee you, and I don't know how long I'll live. I'm about to have a birthday. But I will probably live to see the day that Austin Theory will main event WrestleMania. If anybody out there in the sound of my voice lives long enough to see Johnny Sameface main event WrestleMania, I will leave a clause in my will that you get money. We'll put it in escrow somewhere. What'd you think of any of this?
If I didn't know any better after just watching that DX biography recently, I would think that Austin Theory may be getting the Triple H treatment after the curtain call, because there's nothing else that could explain the horrible booking of his for months now. I mean, I get it. Someone's going to go, oh, we gave you the briefcase. That doesn't take away from it the way he's been used and the way he's been treated and how many times we've seen him on his back. You're right, he's a talented guy, and you're right. I agree with you about Gargano, and I know there are a lot of people that like him, and there are matches of his that I've enjoyed. Him and Ciampa against then the Revival, but FTR, were good matches. But there's too many guys, and he's one of the top guys. There are too many guys that do the style, and I'm not into it of, I'm going to kick out of every move, and then I'll be shocked that you kicked out of my move, and it just goes back and forth, and I'm going to slap my leg for every single fucking thing I do. And he's also, again, I hate to make it about size, but he's a small guy. He's a really small guy. I get it for NXT. I get it for AEW.
He's a small guy with a bland face and no discernible fucking aggression that would intimidate anybody. It's not Conor McGregor we're talking about here. It's fucking Johnny Sameface. Yes, you can do the moves. So can a chimpanzee. Where's the money? Speaking of again, where's the money?
But again, let me go back to what I was saying.
All right.
They can only do so much with the talent they have and have access to. Johnny Gargano, I believe, has been a free agent since the beginning of the year, or somewhere around that period of time. He's out there still. He hasn't signed with AEW. Usually these guys came out of NXT, and when WWE showed that they weren't going to use them, Tony swooped in and got Keith Lee. And he got Adam Cole. We're not even going to talk about how he used him. He went and got him. Johnny Gargano was available. Karrion Kross was still available. Dexter Lumis was still available. Dakota Kai was still available. I don't know if they were told wait for Triple H or what, but they were all still available.
I'm sure they were, because that's too coincidental that a couple of guys that Triple H and the NXT program had put that much stock in, and then suddenly they just don't go anywhere. I think Lee, Swerve, some of those other guys were just like, fuck, I don't trust any of y'all anymore. But Cross and obviously Gargano, he knows at least Gargano stands out in the WWE because there are so many more guys the same size with the same drawbacks, the same weaknesses, and the same shitty look as him in AEW. He wouldn't stand out of the crowd. This way, there's not that many people in WWE that are that small and look that shitty. So he'll stand out.
Yeah, and AEW would have been working 25 matches through 2 commercial breaks on Dynamite and going back and forth with someone. Same spots we see in a lot of those matches. And here we'll see. We'll see how the fans react to him. You brought up a good point earlier. Toronto traditionally is one of the most hardcore crowds. Forget about smart, just hardcore. They're into everything with WWE. Let's see how it happens in, I don't know where they're running next, Des Moines or wherever else. Let's see how they react to Johnny Gargano. And there's a difference, too, between hearing things and looking at the TV and seeing people not move.